In this video, I will go through the layout and some of the important functions of Premiere Pro, starting from the bottom left corner. With the standard editing layout, which you can find by selecting Window, Workspace, Editing, or simply by pressing Alt, Shift and 3. You will find in the bottom left corner of the program a window that contains a bunch of tabs. You don't really have to worry about any of the others, since we will only be focusing on the Project and Effects tab. The Project tab contains your sequence and project files. A sequence is a kind of container of whatever audio or video you put in them, which you can then use to edit and finally render from. In the Project tab, you can preview your video and audio clips. One way of doing this is simply by hovering over your clip and sliding back and forth to view different segments of the clip. You can also click on the video and do the same thing, only that you use a slider, which can be more precise. The final method of previewing or reviewing the content is simply done by double-clicking the clip, and it will appear above. I will talk more about that window in a second. In the bottom right corner of the window, you will see 5 items. From the right to left, you have Delete, New Item, New Bin, Find and Automate to Sequence. Most of these are self-explanatory. New Bin is pretty much the same thing as a regular folder in Windows. You use these to make it more structured and easy to find content. Automate to Sequence imports the content into the sequence. But you don't really need to use this, as there are more easy ways to do it. In the bottom left corner, you will have 2 items, which affects how the content is presented. Next to that, you have a zoom slider. Yeah. The Effects tab. This one is pretty straightforward. You have audio, video effects, and transitions. You will have to go through this yourself, since viewing all of the effects would take a tremendous amount of time and would probably bore you as well, so I won't do it. Good luck. Anyway, to apply an effect on something, select whatever effect you want and put it on the content you wish it to be applied to. It's as simple as that. Now let's talk about the previewing window I mentioned before. This will actually cover all of the playback functionality in Premiere Pro. Anyway, by double-clicking a video or audio file, it will appear in the window above. Below the video screen, you will find the timeline and various playback options. The playback options concern the viewing size and the quality of the video displayed. Below all that, you will find the playback controls, which consist of the typical play, pause and the rest. 2 functions you should know about are mark in and mark out. These let you select a portion of the video and import it into the sequence you are using. In between the playback controls and the timeline, there's a slider thingy, which lets you zoom in and out to and from specific parts. The Effects Control tab. From here, you can control a lot about your video and audio files, like volume, opacity and effects. To the right, you see a timeline for the clip that you have selected. And to the left is, well, that's pretty obvious. This tab pretty much needs a tutorial of its own, so we will leave it at that. Right, now let us introduce the sequence window. This is where you will do all of your editing, using the tools you can see on the left side of the window. To actually open a sequence, you only need to double-click on the sequence and it will automatically open for you. The sequence window is divided into 2 fields, one for video and one for audio, while each of these fields contains separate tracks. If you know what a Photoshop layer is, this works in a similar fashion. All tracks are independent of each other, so one change that you do to one layer will not affect the others, in most cases. To place a certain video or audio at a specific time, use the selection tool. Select the top item in the toolbar which looks like a mouse, or press V, and drag it to the place you want. To cut out parts of the video or audio, use the eraser tool. Select the eraser or press C and click at the point you want to cut. You can also shorten or make a video longer by dragging its edge. The field in between the toolbar and the timeline holds controls for muting and hiding certain tracks. It also contains a lock mechanism which prevents you from accidentally editing footage. Also to the right is the audio level, just so you know, in case you haven't figured that out yet. Finally, one important thing to remember is to always use the slider thingy. You use this to decide which part to render. Slide the left one to the start of the video and the right one to the end. And that's all. Bye.